Veemon, let's go. Wormmon, let's go.
Yeah.
It's morphin' time.
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my review of the Super Complete Selection Animation D3 Digivice version Daisuke and version Ken. This is the blue and the black, even though this is a green box, because SCSA is green. These two are the newest Super Complete Selection Animation Digivice. These are the roleplay devices that let you go through all the evolutions and animations. If you want to see what these look like, I reviewed the D-Arcs, the Ultimate D-Arc, and the D-Scanners, so go check those out for more context on the Super Complete Selection Animation style. There's a lot of features here, and so I don't want to describe necessarily how they work, but the basic idea is they're not like a gameplay device, but sort of role-playing the series itself. But these were premium Bandai exclusives, pre-order only, and they have finally released in the US release, which is the versions I got, which are identical to the Japanese release. They just have a sticker on the back with the text in English on changing the batteries and such. So with these two devices, the boxes are pretty nice. You can see we got Daisuke or Davis with XV-Mon, XV-Mon on the side, Davis on the top. And then, like I said, it shows you how to change the batteries. It says English instruction will be available on pbandai.com. Last I checked, it's not. It's just not. Each device is packed inside these cardboard boxes in a plastic tray. They're not in there at the moment because I've already gotten them out to do demoing and stuff. So that's kind of how that box looks. And then here's the Ken, SCSA, and then SCSA on this side, Ken on the top, and then yes, half a Pyildramon, half a Pyildramon. So there is a full picture of Pyildramon. Now, of course, because they've been doing this with pretty much all of them, the Japanese release came with a Japanese promo card for the trading card game, and then the English release came with the English version. So this is the English card. You can see Davis Motomiya, Kenichi Joji. Of course, it's going to use the English names, but it does still say XV-Mon as opposed to XV-Mon. It is XV-Mon, so it is accurate to the animation, or the original animations. We got XV-Mon on one side, SCSA on the other. Pretty nice. It is a parallel art to BT-888, which is a Tamer's card, and it is using the artwork that you see on the front of the boxes, which I think is pretty cool. They did this with the D-Scanners as well, which is pretty nice. So there's that. It's the same card in both. They each come with one. So if you buy both, you have both, which is pretty neat. So there's a lot of features. We need to get started. But before we do, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button. Helps this video get out to more people. Helps continue making more Digimon videos for the channel if they are successful, and I really do appreciate that. Hit subscribe and the notification bell if you aren't already, in order to make sure you don't miss out on any future Digimon videos, because there certainly will be more in our future for both toys and Blu-rays and others. But let's get on to taking a look at the Complete Selection Animation D3. Okay, we're going to structure this a little different than how I did the other devices, because these actually have mirroring features, and I think it might be easier to go over what's similar between them before we go over to what's different, because there's a lot of differences. First things first, the batteries, they each take 2 AAA batteries, or whichever the voltage is. You just get the battery cover off, you screw it down, and you're good to go. There also is a reset button on the back here that you can just like push with the same screwdriver that fits here, which I think is really handy, and that'll reset it to its kind of default settings. But of course, we got to take a look at the physical features. So here is the Davis, which of course is the white design with the blue grips. Each of the kids in Digimon Adventure 02 had a different color. It's not, this is the device specifically for Daisuke/Davis, so it is going to only be the blue. But you can see the black buttons. This is all show accurate, which is why you have a more elongated design than you see on a lot of D3 toys that kind of shrink them a little bit, because the original toy was like that. We will compare it to a couple of the other versions, and also the longer antenna. So it is more show accurate than we've ever seen before, and it actually is a lot larger than other D3 toys. Of course, you still got your classic belt clip because, it's Digivices. You got to have the belt clip. You got a couple buttons here, left, right, power button, up, down, that sort of thing. And then basically apply all that to the Ken Digivice, which is black and gray with white buttons because that's how it is designed. Something you may notice is that there is kind of like these scratches, like these little scratches on the inside of the screen. I think it's just like a manufacturing thing. I'm not exactly sure. I can notice them in some angles and sometimes not. I have no idea if it's showing up in the camera. But of course, you know, they are two different devices. This is all going to be Ken specific. This is all going to be Daisuke specific. So what we want to do is we want to do the stuff that is similar. So we got to hold down the power button to turn them on. Okay, so they both start up with the same little narration thing about, you know, adventure and stuff. You can see we've got Chibimon or DemiVeemon here and Minnomon over here. The way that the buttons work is quite interesting. You push up, you will cycle through the music in each device. It's a little different for both, but I'll just demo one song. We'll look at the full music list on a moment in the other menu. Now with other Digimon, if you press the lower button, it will do an attack sound, but with these guys, it won't. So now we're going to move into the menus. First things first, we have Evolution. You can see that there is a gold background on the Daisuke and a green background on the Ken, which is just going to stay consistent. I do love the moving pattern. It's got a really nice effect to it. This one's kind of moving forward. This one's kind of moving inward, which I think is neat. Or outward and inward. So then after that we have voice action evolution on the Daisuke, sound on the Ken, so then there's sound for Daisuke, then we have Digimon Explained, then we have digital gate and mode change, do different things in each of them. Then we have a link, Digimental Search, now we have link, and then we have settings. So settings, if you turn Digimon display off, it means when you go back to the main screen, it's not going to show a Digimon. It'll just show that falling digicode pattern. So if you don't want the Digimon on the front screen, there you go. It's easy to turn that off. We also have evolution voice. This will be the either Daisuke or Ken saying an evolution phrase. You can turn that on or off. Display brightness. I have it set to 2. You might notice that like the Ken's a little bit brighter than the Davis, and I'm not exactly sure why, but you can bump it up to 3. So there's 1, 2, and then 3. We're going to go with... I think we're going with 2, but you know, let's go to 3. I'm going to go 2 on Ken, 3 on Daisuke. Then we have sound volume. I have it at 4. I have it cranked up. This is max sound. And then back to Digimon display. So the other features that are shared, let's go to sound. So sound menu on both. Click it. Music. So this is where things change a little bit. So for Daisuke, we have several songs here. We have the opening theme. Then we have Breakup, which is the Armor Evolution theme. Then Braveheart for the Champion Evolution. Then we have Beat Hit for the Jogress or DNA Digivolution. Then we have Butterfly, which is the theme song to Digimon Adventure, which plays during the epilogue of 02. And then we have the ending theme song for 02. Then we have a casual tune which was used in the show for when they went back to the real world. So those are the different songs for the Daisuke device. Now the Ken device has some of the same songs, but it has some differences. So for example, this first one is the theme song. The second song is Braveheart, which of course is the Champion Evolution. Third song, Beat Hit for Jogress or DNA Digivolution. Fourth is Butterfly for that epilogue. 5 is another casual track from the series. And that's all these songs in this mode for Ken. Okay, so the other menu is character voice. So character voice works as follows. So you got Daisuke and you got Ken. And what you do is you press this and you get a line of dialogue from the show, from that character. And for Daisuke, there's 227. For Ken, there's 101. So I'll play the first one of each. But if you want to hear all the voice lines for both characters and their Digimon, there will be a link in the description. Click that link for an unlisted video with all of the voice lines. I do this every time. I want to record what is in these devices and have that historical record. So if you want to check that out, hit the description link below. All right, let's take a demo of the voice lines. So that's pretty much the idea there. And yes, it is only the Japanese audio on any of this stuff because these are made for the Japanese audience. You can also get the Digimon. So in this case, it'll be Chibimon, it'll be Minnomon, and they just make voice clips. And then you also get conversations between Daisuke and Veemon, Ken and Wormmon, that are several conversations. And then again, these will all be linked in the description down below. So that is the sound menu, the character voices. And yes, the big thing to note, if you have this, whatever your current active Digimon is, will give you whatever Digimon-specific lines those are. So right now, the baby forms are the ones that are active, but if you put XV-Mon as the active, you'll get XV-Mon lines. If you put Stingmon as the active, you'll get Stingmon lines. That's kind of how that works, which is pretty cool. And then here we have Digimon Explained. These are the same between both devices, but basically these will cycle through some explanation menus of certain Digimon. You will see most of these in both devices. If you do the evolution, you can press the up button and it'll show these. So I'm just going to show you the two that aren't part of evolution sequences. So the only other shared mode is the link mode, but that is more complicated and I think deserves its own segment, which we'll do after looking at the independent devices. But now it's time to look at specific features to each of them, their evolutions, their mode changes, and that sort of thing. So we're going to start with Daisuke and then move to Ken. Okay, so let's start with the Davis features for evolution, which is probably my favorite feature on these devices consistently. So we have plenty of options here. We have evolution to rookie, which allows Chibimon to become Veemon. Okay, so now that he's Veemon, if you go back to this screen, you can see there's Veemon, and if you press this button, you can get his attack sound. So that's pretty cool as well. And like I mentioned prior, I won't mention this every time. Now when you go to the sound menu, you go to character voice, and then you click over to Digimon, now you're going to get Veemon specific sound. Now from here, you got two different sets of evolutions for the next stage. So you have the Crest of Courage there, of course, for Fladramon or Flamedramon, and then you've got Raidramon or Lighdramon with the Crest of Friendship, and then you have the symbol for the Golden Armor Energize, the Golden Digimental for Magnamon. Now with these three, you do have an option of clicking the button here to get the normal transformation version, as you'd see in the show. So that is the Flamedramon transformation and the evolution. What's so cool is that with the earliest SCSAs, with the D-arcs, we got kind of like the moments, the bits of the transformation, like the backgrounds, and we kind of got, you know, a step further with the D-scanners. But now with the D3s, that is practically one-to-one of the animation in the series for the armor evolution, and that is absolutely incredible. I just love how these keep getting better every single time they do them. And that is just amazing to see all the rotating objects that are 2D objects, but they're rotating in 3D, to see just the flashes of Agumon's evolution line. All of that stuff is just incredible to witness through what is a very small screen when you're talking about it only being a couple inches big, and it looks absolutely incredible. It makes me so impressed with how the toy is. Now, of course, you do get the attack sounds. But of course, we do have other evolutions. So the cool part is you have the option to go with voice action evolution, where you can select armor for the Flamedramon, for Lighdramon, or for Magnamon, or you can select random, but every time I've done random in my testing, it always gives me Flamedramon, so it's not exactly random. But what you can do here is you can select an armor evolution. Instead of waiting for the image of Daisuke or Davis to pop up and say Digimental up, you can say Digimental up. Digimental up. So there you can see we have Lighdramon on the screen. The fun part about this is that the microphone, which is down here, just registers sound. So you could blow into it, you can just mumble through it. It also means you don't have to stick to the Japanese term of Digimental up. You could say Digi-Armor Energize. Before we do that, though, here is Lighdramon's attack sounds. Alright, so let's do the voice action evolution with the dub name, just for the heck of it. Digi-Armor Energize. So that's pretty cool. Now, we have one more evolution of the armors, which is the golden armor for Magnamon. Alright, so there's Magnamon. Much simpler transformation. That's how it is in the series. It's how the evolution looks. It is technically the only movie-based feature in this, because Magnamon did debut in Digimon Adventure 02 Hurricane Touchdown, the evolution of the Golden Digimentals, or the birth of the Golden Digimentals. And it also, of course, was in the series for one episode. It's the only movie-related thing, and we'll talk about why that's significant later. But of course, we do have other evolutions beyond this. We do have his champion evolution to XV-Mon. So there we have XV-Mon, and his evolution is very similar to all the evolutions to Champion in the original Digimon Adventure. And I know we're getting the Digimon Evolution color for the Digivice, but I do hope we see an animation style as opposed to just a pixel style version of that device to play evolutions. But now that we have XV-Mon, of course, we need to do a Jogress, a DNA Digivolution into Imperialdramon. And this part will be the same for both this and the Wormmon version with a minor difference. So I'm only going to play this a couple times here, but this is the DNA Digivolution, or the Jogress evolution for Imperialdramon. Once again, super impressed with how the evolution works. Paildramon's evolution is a lot more complex. It was done with 3D animation models in the original, and they did a replica of the 3D models in this. It looks incredible. It's like you're just watching the evolution play out on the Digivice screen in front of you, and honestly, that just is everything I ever wanted. I love these things so much. That is one of the case points. I have played that Paildramon evolution over and over again because I'm just so impressed with how they pulled it off. Now, of note, you can't jump to Imperialdramon. You first have to do the DNA Digivolution before you do the evolution to Mega, which is Imperialdramon. And you can't jump to Fighter mode because it goes right back to reset. So, next up, we're doing Imperialdramon. So once again, the evolution animation is perfect. They even got the part where Imperialdramon nukes a castle. I mean, it's just incredible. It's so fun. It's so cool. I had words mixed up in my mouth just now because I was so excited. But now that we've got Imperialdramon, we can do the mode change into Imperialdramon Fighter mode. So absolutely amazing. Once again, it's just like looking at the show. It's a little bit, simplified in some places just to make it work, but amazing. The only thing I guess is a minor quibble. They give you a lot of options for things. They give you the voice action evolution and all that. I do wish we had an option to just play. It didn't happen often in the show, but it had happened a couple times where Paildramon would Mega Evolve into Imperialdramon and then switch right to Fighter mode, like play them back to back. That's not a feature in this, though I kind of wish it was. It's just a minor thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's just something I kind of wish was a thing. Also of note, voice action evolution is only the armor evolutions. It is not the rookie or the Jogress. And also, speaking of movie things, there is no Imperialdramon Paladin mode. And I don't know if they're saving that for a future feature or a future device, like if they do a Paildramon Digivice colored version of this, like they did the Ultimate D-Arc was the only way you got Crimson mode. I wonder if we'll get like the Paildramon colors of this device and then that'll have Paladin mode, but no Paladin mode in this, which is a slight bummer, but kind of interesting. They usually kind of include a lot of things in these, but there's still a lot in here. I mean, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 evolution sequences in one device, and that's pretty amazing. You can just cycle through all the evolutions one by one, which is pretty neat. You get so many options to do the different evolutions, and I think that's fantastic. And there's a secret evolution. Let's take a listen to it, and I'll explain what this is. Okay, so the secret evolution. It's visually nothing special, but sound-wise, it's really cool. Originally planned for the series were these combo evolutions of armors. So, for example, the Flamedramon, Armor of Courage, and the Lighdramon, Armor of Friendship, would combine into Sagittarimon, which is what that audio is for. Because they had the voices for Daisuke and Veemon coming in to record new lines for the device, I guess they asked them to put it, I guess not so much for Daisuke, because it just says Digimental Up, but for Veemon, they recorded the voice of what he would say if he evolved into Sagittarimon in the show, which never happened, but we have the sounds for it now. It would have been cool if they went an extra step and like designed a whole Digivolution sequence, but that's asking a lot for what is ultimately a, you know, single device that's just being sold to work off our nostalgia in a lot of ways. It's very cool that it was in there. Now, it doesn't change the image on the front. It's going to be whatever was last there, and you don't have any extra voice lines for it, but just having the audio of Veemon giving an introduction for Sagittarimon is just so cool and such a neat thing. Now, if you're trying to access it, it doesn't explain it in the instruction sheet, so I'm going to show you how to do it. So basically, when you cycle through each of the menu options, after you go through DNA, Digivolution, Mega, and Mode Change, or if you don't have those unlocked, just whatever the last one is, after reset, you'll see it goes back to Evolution Rookie. But a second time around, clicking through, you will be able to find that after you get to reset, boom, Secret Evolution pops up. And there was only one Secret Evolution. I tested this multiple times. Now, if you go backwards to reset and then go forward again, it resets the cycle. Speaking of reset, this is how you get your Digimon back to base form if you want to. So as you can see, Imperialdramon fighter mode went back to being Chibimon. So it will reset him back to base form. So there's a lot of evolutions in this device, and it's really, really impressive. And that Secret Evolution was just a cherry on the top, especially for hardcore fans. Now, for other features on this, we have the mode change, the digital gate. This will allow you, because it's currently set to real world mode. So this is Daisuke, Davis, and Chibimon in the real world, but you hit digital gate, it'll do the sounds to transport him to the digital world. So now that we're in digital world mode, you can see there's a blue background. Veemon is now the default. You don't have the option to evolve Chibimon to Veemon because he didn't do that in the digital world, but you still have the Flamedramon, Lighdramon, Magnamon, the champion XV-Mon, and the DNA for Imperialdramon. Plus, of course, you can still do the secret evolution. It's just now the background is going to be blue instead of that gold color, which I think is kind of neat, little distinction, know what mode you're in. Now that we're here, voice activation, sound, those work the same. Digimon Explained, same. Digital Gate will send you back to the real world, but Digimental Search has been added. So next is Digimental Search. If you click this, it will search for a Digimental. The icon will come down, meet you here, and then it'll produce a Digimental. And it's going to go in order. That does have a specific order, so of course the Armor of Courage is up first. And you have to wait for the entire animation to loop and get back to the menu, because if you cancel out of it, it won't count for you going to the next one. And that's kind of annoying because it takes a while for this thing to work itself out. But as you can see, now we have Halsemon's Digimental. Now this feature is also repeated in the Ken mode of the Ken Digivice, so we're going to try to show you here. It makes a slightly different sound, but overall you can kind of get a different Digimental. As you can see, that is the Digimon one, and if I do it here, the third one is also, you can speed it up. If you press the button, it goes a little quicker. And then this one should be the Digimon one as well. And so you keep going through it, and we'll just put this one off to the side. You gotta wait for the entire thing to loop, which is really obnoxious. But of course, we do have the other Digimentals here, which include all of the ones that were used in show for the main cast. So of course there is the one for Hope, for Pegasusmon. They're roughly in first appearance order as they appeared in the series. But as you can see, you can't skip it here, and if you press that, it cancels it out. It's a pretty cool feature because it's nice to see the other Digimentals represented. It's similar to the Spirit Search feature in the D-Scanner where you could see the other spirits. But with the other spirit searches, you could find them a lot quicker because it wasn't so long of a sequence. Whereas this, because you have to wait for it to completely finish the animation, it can be a little obnoxious to get all of them. Like I say, if you press this, it speeds up the little square coming down, and then it'll give you the next, Digimental, next Digi-Egg. That's the one for Lighdramon, of course. So it's nice to see the other kids represented in the device in some way. But once again, I do wish that it was a little bit easier to go through it. I kind of wish you could just select it like the Digimon Explained menu, but this is just how they decided to do it. But you can see there we've got Shurimon's Digimental. And yeah, it takes a while, and that's why on camera it's a little annoying to put together. And the sound is exactly the same for every single one of them. So it's not like it's saying like, oh, Digimental of Courage, Digimental of Friendship. It's just showing you them on the screen, and that's about all you get. But there's some Marimons, and then there's one more after this. You don't get both golden Digimentals. You only get the one for Magnamon, and I'm going to let you guys hear the sound effect for this as we do that. And so after that, you pretty much get a random. So if you click it again, I've noticed sometimes it'll cycle back to Flamedramon, and sometimes it'll just go in a random order. But yeah, it's a total of 7. You see there it went to light. So it's a total of 7. It's the main, no, it's a total of, actually, sorry, it's a total of 9. The main 3 for the main, there are 2 each for the main 3, 1 each for TK and Kari, and then 1 golden. And that's pretty much the Digimental Search feature, and it is the exact same feature that's in the Ken Digivice. So that's a shared feature between both, but it's only in Digital World mode here, and it's only in Ken mode here. And more explanation on the Ken modes when we get to Ken itself. But that's the Digimental Search feature. I wish it was a little bit speedier to actually activate. So then the digital map is fun because one of the plot points of the Digital World arc of 02 was taking down the Dark Towers that were infecting the Digimon, and so this digital map feature allows you to take down the Dark Towers. You click digital map, and then you can select one of these black dots, and it'll allow you to attack a tower. So pretty much that's all the unique features to the Digital World mode, since you do have all the same evolutions minus the Veemon evolution. So I think it's time to send Daisuke and Veemon home using the Digital Gate. So outside of the Link mode, which we will look at in a little bit, that's the unique features in the Daisuke version of the Digivice. Let's go take a look at Ken's unique features. So the Ken Digivice follows a lot of the format of the Daisuke device. It has 2 modes and it has multiple evolutions. So I think we should start there. Evolution-wise, of course, we can evolve Minomon into Wormmon. So pretty cool, pretty basic, nothing too exciting there. Of course, we do have the champion evolution for Stingmon. Okay, so next up we have, of course, the DNA Digivolution for Imperialdramon, which of course goes into Imperialdramon, it goes into Imperialdramon Fighter mode. I'll just show it for a brief moment how it looks here. It's exactly the same as the Daisuke though. So, you might be asking the question, if there is a secret evolution for Veemon, is there a secret evolution for Wormmon? And you know it, and here it is before I explain what it is. So Wormmon's secret evolution is Puchimon. Puchimon I don't think was ever planned for the show, but Wormmon never got an armor evolution because by the time Ken and Wormmon joined up with the rest of the group, they weren't really using armor evolutions anymore because they were able to evolve to champion, and that was the thing. So, you know, Wormmon became Stingmon, and he didn't need to have an armor evolution. But what we have in here is Ken and Wormmon's voice actors having lines for Wormmon evolving into Puchimon with the Digimental of Kindness. And what's really cool about that is that we get Ken saying Digimental up, we get Wormmon saying Armor Shinka, things we never have heard before. And I think it was such a great thing to put them in here, and I love it. You know, again, you know, if they really were going crazy, they could have done an animation thing, but just having the sounds for it is just kind of a cool thing because they never evolved to that in the show. So it's just nice to have a little bonus, kind of a what could have been thing. So with the Ken Digivice, we are in Ken mode. So we're going through the menu here. There is Digimental Search, which I'm not exactly sure why Ken has. He wasn't really looking for Digimentals. And so that leads us to one more thing for Ken, which is it's time to mode change and put core Ken back in the role of Digimon Emperor. Okay, so Ken's mode switch is a little bit meaner than just digital world, real world like Daisuke. As you can see, we have this dark digital pattern because Ken was the Digimon Emperor, and this mode has Digimon Emperor specific features. So for example, before we get to the evolutions, your voice lines are going to be different, of course, because you have your music, which are actually different tracks because now we're in Digi Emperor mode. It's not going to be as nice. So that's 3 more tracks to make a total of 8. Technically, there's 9 tracks in this because Breakup plays during the Secret Evolution, but there's 8 tracks you can play between the 2 modes. And I like that it's totally different because you shouldn't have like the theme song playing while he's the Digimon Emperor. The character voices as well, you're going to get specific Digimon Kaiser, Digimon Emperor lines. You're going to get Digimon Kaiser and Wormmon, which is different, and then that's it. There are no Digimon lines for the Digimon you can evolve here, as we will see in a moment. Digimon Explain, same as before. Mode change will switch you to Good Ken. We'll do that at the end. Digital Map. Similar to how you destroy the towers on Daisuke's, you put the towers up as the Digimon Emperor. So that's pretty cool. You get a nice cross-compatibility thing, and I think that's really neat. It's not like you can sync the maps together, but I think it's just awesome to have. Okay, so now we're going to go do the evolutions for Ken. Now, this is going to be different because all of these are the evil Digimon that the Digimon Emperor forced to happen. You got Skullgreymon, you got Metal Greymon, and you got Chimeramon, and they're all listed as Dark Evolution. We also have a voice activation mode for them. So let's start with Skullgreymon. So now Skullgreymon will be on the main screen, but he doesn't have any attack voices because they didn't really voice the Dark Digimon, but still pretty cool nonetheless. We're going to do voice activation evolution for Metal Greymon because, once again, you have a voice line. You can say Ankoku Shinka, you could say Dark Digivolution. I'm going to go with Ankoku Shinka just to keep it all in line. Ankoku Shinka. So that's pretty cool that you can just like yell into this thing and make things happen. There he is again, no attack lines. And then the last one, it's a little morbid, but the Chimeramon evolution, since the Digimon Emperor put a bunch of Digimon together. Chimeramon, a little horrifying to watch. Nothing graphic. It's just a little unsettling. So there we go. There is Chimeramon, which that is definitely the eye that was on the Blu-ray for Digimon Adventure Season 2. The Discotheque Blu-ray was Chimeramon's eye. And that's our third and last Digimon. Now, as far as I know, if we look here, we will go through it twice just to make sure. Reset will just basically just send you back to the original. And my autofocus is out of whack. Here we go. And then basically, yeah, it's not going to have a secret evolution because there's really nothing missing from the evolutions that the Digimon Emperor forced to happen. Pretty cool, and that pretty much wraps up the Digimon Emperor side. It's not as heavy as you'd think, but the fact that they included it is pretty amazing. And in fact, we're going to switch back to regular good old Ken by subjecting him to some trauma. So there we go. That's the unique features in the Ken version of the Digivice. But much like the D-scanners, this top part here allows you to link the two together to activate new versions and unique sounds. So let's take a look at link mode. So here's the link option on this mode. So we're going to have Davis in digital, Ken in Digimon Emperor form. So you gotta go link. We're gonna go to dialogues. It's the only one that's gonna work with Ken being evil. And the way this works is that you have these little registers and then they talk to each other here. So once again, if you want to hear the full conversations, in the description, there is a link to a video for that. So you have a different sound for Evil Ken with Digital Davis, but if we go switching him to the real world mode, we'll get a different sound for Evil Ken. And I think that's pretty cool because you get different points in the stages of the characters from the series. So we're going to go here, and we'll go back to Link as we did before, and then we'll go to dialogue. So that's the second Link dialogue option. Now the last one requires Davis can be in either mode, but Ken has to be in good mode to get their third conversation, as well as unlocking the other two Link options. Boy, he's loud. Yeah, in order to get the other two Link options to work, Ken has to be in good mode. So we're going to do this, and then we'll do their special dialogue. So we're going to switch them over to sound now, and this will be the narration from the final episode, last scene of the show, which is pretty awesome. And then lastly, this is very similar to the D-scanners and how their sync works. You can do the DNA Digivolution, the Jogress evolution to Imperialdramon, except you'll get extra dialogue in front of it, and then it'll play them in sync. So that's pretty cool, and as you can see here, this is just to show that with Imperialdramon, and Fighter mode, it'll have a green background versus the gold background, or the blue background, depending on which mode Daisuke is in. So it's just, you know, it's the same images, same sounds and all that in both when you select them on the menu, but it's kind of cool. You get the little extra narration from the first time that they DNA Digivolve together, and you can, you know, sync it up and make it happen, and they play in unison, which I think is super duper cool. But that is it for all the features in these two Digivices. And there is only one thing left to do in this video, and that is compare sizes to past D3s and other Digivices. Okay, so let's talk size. Let's move the Ken one out of the way. I want to just compare the Daisuke to the original American D3. This is incredible to me because this was my first ever Digivice. It was this the D3 Digivice, the American one, the little LCD pedometer game. It's got the little shaky in it. This is amazing. So the thing is that the original D3 toy in both Japan and America is kind of this oblonged, like not quite like, you know, it's not quite even. It is really nice and comfortable to hold in the hand, but it's not got a huge antenna. It's not quite the shape it is in the animation. In the animation, it looks like this. And so seeing it side by side, it makes the SCSA almost look weird, but at the same time more right than the original D3 ever did. So it's kind of amazing to see them. And also the size difference is insane. All the D3 toys from before are pretty small. So to see it like this much larger is pretty cool. Still very similar belt clip though. Never go wrong with the belt clip. But I gotta say also the overall bulk, if we just lower the camera, you can see how much thicker the SCSA is, but it is still more show accurate. So it's nice to finally get like a show accurate model of the D3 in a lot of ways, which I think is super cool and super fun. And that is pretty awesome. The other comparison with these two, of course, would be to the complete selection animation Kari and TK, Gatomon and Patamon D3s. Now these are based on Digimon Adventure Tri, where they did have the sort of oblong shape that matches the original toys. And these were a little thinner, but they were a little bit bigger. These were super limited, and these were you know, hard to get. But when I say super limited, I do mean super limited because all the features on these is that you push a button to start evolution music and you press it and then you get some lights and that's about it. And so you're mostly just getting voices and it has both programmed into it. So you just end up with a lot of just, you know, the same sounds between both. There's no reason to own both. Whereas these are two completely different devices. So these being based on Digimon Adventure Tri, these being based on 02, of course the size difference is significant because the Tri is just more based on that original toy. But they are significantly different in detailing as well. So I would still like to see the other 4 D3s made in the SCSA style because these CSAs don't look like they go together because they are technically from 2 different shows. So you kind of see, yeah, they look kind of strange all lined up like this. But yeah, lots of D3s, but yeah, these are definitely the biggest, which is insane, but also really cool and more accurate. What I find funny too is they're about the size of the D scanners, which I always saw as something larger. And in general, I mean, these things look so nice. I really do like the way all the SCSA devices look together. Let's get a higher angle here because we of course have all of the D arcs. We've got, you know, red and gold, and of course green and blue. So these are the 8 super complete selection animation Digivices so far. I hope this isn't the end because I love this line, and I obviously do. I'm buying all of them. But there they all are. And I gotta say, I like the D arcs, but they're a lot more limited than what the D scanners did, than what the D3s did. They have improved over time, and I think that's amazing. I was asked to compare the speaker quality between the different SCSA Digivices, and I did that, but I'm putting in its own separate video in the link in the description down below, so that way it doesn't make this video that's already long even longer. So final conclusion, are these worth tracking down? I'd say yes if you're a big fan of 02. Like the others, unless you're like a huge Digimon fan, those all the seasons, these do cost, they are expensive, and finding them for a good price can be tricky, but I do say they are worth it. The lack of Paladin mode is a little weird, but nothing that I go, oh, it's essential to this, but, you know, again, they may be saving it for a Imperialdramon colored device, which would track with what they've done before. But I think overall they are worth it. You can always pick one or the other because you do get all the evolutions. There's no evolutions locked to the link mode, which is nice. But, you know, pick your favorite character of the 2. I still hope we see the other 4 colors, the red, the yellow, the green, the pink. I would totally buy them, just like with all the others. But if these are the 2 we get, these are the 2 we get. I really do like these, and I hope we see another SCSA Digivice soon. The next Digivice release is the Digivice Color Evolution 25th Anniversary, which is an actual pedometer digital battle game with SCSA elements of having evolution animations recreated, but they are pixel Digimon instead of the anime styling. So I will be reviewing that, so you want to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss out on that. Nice segue there. You can hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and leave a comment down below with any of your thoughts on the devices or any questions, comments, concerns you have about them. And if you have one and you're trying to find a specific feature and I wasn't clear enough, please let me know. Also, of course, you can check out our live streams on this YouTube channel Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday, have a good time. Come join our Discord server in the link below where you can come hang out and talk Digimon and other things. You can support the channel by becoming a channel member. There's perks like early access, member-exclusive live streams, and shout-outs. So check the join button down below for details, and let's give a special shout-out to some of our members. Special shout-out to our channel members, including our Captain Tiers, Spin-54, Super Shadix Boom, Toma K, Jamie's World, MasterBin95, Princeton Phalanx 59, It's La Dorman, Matthias Laura, K Breezy, Sentai Ranger Donnie, Ray Venkman, Common Jojo, Scotty Z70, Oma Ender, Marvel Fan, Dr. Grid, Brendan Overland, ARG and Marco27, Jeremy Carr, Smith the Crow. You can also find me across most social media platforms at Soundout12 if you wish. You can find my awesome graphic designer on social media and Discord at DarkClaw643. You can check out Hero Club at HeroClub.com for anime news, interviews, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, let's go digital.